Is on the screen.
Yeah, so as we saw, we've already gone over it, but a view at home, for the viewers at home, you can see there the grid. Nigel Davers and Miles Casadini there, Bruno Costa and Tom Wheatley, row number 2. Row 3, Ben Stiles and Phil Davis in 6th spot on the grid. Chris Lord Wilcox on row number 4, I should say. There we go, get it right in the head. Row number 5, though, Jeff Fern and Rodney Toft. Then it is Jeff Williams and David Jones running out row number 6. Row 7, though, Steve Gardner and James Tanzer there. So nice look at the grid then. You can see them there, and this is what we like to see. So the cars making their way out on the circuit.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Steve Gardner, who qualified for the race in 13th, he won't take any part in this one. He's a driver that we saw his car being loaded into the back of a transporter after the first race. A clutch issue for him means that he will take no further part in the race day, and the berth on the inside in 13th place, but albeit on the final row, will be vacant. So 13 runners then expected in the final race of the day. The amalgamated classes for Monoposto, M1000, 1800 and 1600. The 10-second board is up, and our drivers will make their way off on their sighting lap behind the course car here at Castle Combe.
Can I be pedantic again?
Is it not a course car?
No, it was a 30-second board, not a 10-second board.
Was it really?
It was.
It didn't seem like 30 seconds, did
No,
it?
it didn't seem like it. Never does it?
No.
They put the 30-second board up, and then 5 seconds later, they're gone. But yeah, I think it's just because they have to put it up. But yeah, no, you were right, though. It is a course car.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was thinking, because if we get to, 3 pedantic circumstances, I might just have to go home.
Well, I'll do it just as the checker flag goes out, and then it's an early finish. There we go. We'll do that, shall we? Cars head out then for their warm-up lap. And as you can imagine, the sun is down. The air temperature here has got a little bit cooler out there, but the sun is still beaming down on the circuit. You can see there, obviously, what is the date? We're mid-June now, aren't we? So it's, we're nearing that summertime peak sort of area, and we all panic in the UK because our summertime usually consists of about 3 nice days. We've had quite a few nice days this year, though, haven't we? So already, I've already been sunburnt about 3 times in these last. I don't tan. I spend my winter in an office tucked away, and it's tucked away. But sure, it's nice for these drivers to get out into the sunshine as well. These drivers have had 3 rounds already that have been Brands and Sneston and all along those lines. So, they've already raced so far this year. But Castle Combe brings out the best in all of us, I think, with just fast corners and long straights.
Yeah, one of the fastest circuits in the United Kingdom around this Castle Combe circuit. And the course car there will pull off to the right and will allow the race leader to come through and take up their grid positions. The M1000 cars, the motorbike engine powered carts, and there's a 17 coming through, Bruno Costa. We spoke to him, and as mentioned, I was sure I'd seen that car with a wing on it, and it certainly had one at Brands Hatch, but they've decided to remove it in order to try and maximise the straight line speed. And he did mention as well that is obviously hampering them round the corners, but it's a case of trying to take advantage then on the straights. The final few cars are rolling their way into position for the final race of the day here at Castle Combe. Thank you very much for joining us on the Alpha Life Productions channel. We await the lights in the top left corner to go red, and then a few seconds later they will go out and we'll be away and racing. It's only a second or so. The front Davers at the start once again makes a slow start, but by any stretch, he said he was expecting that. He says he's not the most fantastic off the line, and he does have a bit of a clutch issue, but the power of that car goes through. The 78 is a little bit slow. That's Miles Castellandini. He's dropped 3 or 4 places. He's been starting on the outside of the front row. He's going to try and run all the way around the outside down at Quarry, but he's down into 4th place now as Bruno Costa takes up the battle with Nigel Davers at the head of the pack. Behind that, they're 2 and 3 wide, going down into a heavy braking zone at the S's.
Yep, good start then from the entirety of the field, and the 77 of Davos back up in front. So it was a better start than his first race, but it still wasn't 100% because he had to really defend for that one to get that one back. So, but by the end of lap 1, we're still leading the way. Now, the 78, Casadini. Now, that car has gone past 2 cameras now, and it sounds a bit askew. Now, of course, the question we had earlier was it missing? Oh, there's a big lock up there from... I think that was the number 12, the 5th place car, or the 6th place car, I think it was. Yeah, Davis there, struggling with the car. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, so the 78 of Casadini. Now, that car's gone past a couple of cameras, and it sounds a bit, ooh, it doesn't sound 100%. It may have been the reason why he dropped back a couple of positions, I'm not too sure. But that engine cover was never there.
No, you figured that one out, didn't
yes.
you, in the end?
Yeah.
Now ask the questions. Castellini just go down the inside, and now it's a case of whether he can get into the braking zone first, down the inside, and he does. Miles Castellini then up into 3rd place, having dropped away at the start. Clips a bit of the grass on the way out of the chicane section, but he is now up into 3rd place with getting past Ben Stiles, the leader in the 1800 class.
Yep, good start from that one then. 13 minutes left on the timer, and it is still Davos from Costa leading from Stiles at the moment. Or it's Casadini now, I should say, because he's managed to get past. So there is your top 3 in shot. And obviously, yeah, speaking to Costa, you just say he's got that low aero packet on there at the moment. That rear wing just looks so out of place with it tucked down, and yeah, it's definitely a low downforce setup, isn't it? He might have just got rid of the rear wing.
Yeah, he's
need it.
Gone all out, hasn't he? And,
go extreme.
We saw the car car further back there, didn't we? That we spoke to on the grid of Davis in the 12, where he's got no wings at all, and he says that he was just finding it fantastic at the time in terms of his straight line speed. Says it was occasionally he was finding it difficult to get it stopped up at Quarry, but he said that was partly down to the fact that of his own line as well. And now here we see Castellini right on the back of Costa, so he's closed up. Costa's dropped away from Davos slightly, and Castellini, who was a second behind Costa at the start of the lap, right on the back now as they go round the right at Tower. It's a short straight, so I don't think he's going to be able to get alongside. He thought about it, didn't he, and then got on the brakes on the dirty tarmac on the inside. Has had to back out of that one. Will he get the run down into the camp corner, which he managed to get past Stiles here, albeit Stiles in the 1800 car, so would have had slightly less power anyway. And this is where we expect Costa to try and pull away then down this straight. Can Castellini close up enough to get into the braking zone, because we know that Costa's going to struggle to stop running that low aero package? Yeah,
you would definitely think so. And of course, as it happens, into the braking zone then of Quarry, and they get that job nearly done. Can't stay any moves there, but looking out of the slipstream now, is he going to try send one down the inside here into the S's? Yes, he does. Gets that one done. Does he run out wide? No, of course he doesn't. Gets the job done. Moves up to 2nd place.
Good move then from Castellini, getting through past Costa, and has already started to pull away from Costa, although be it that could be because Costa's exit was hampered into that corner, having been forced wide with Castellini getting down the inside. Castellini, though, now he's through, closing up on Davos quite a lot. Has Davos got a problem, Anthony? He's moving off to the left-hand side, and the race leader has got a problem. He's dropping away. He's certainly going to carry on, but he's dropped. Did he miss a gear on the exit there? We've seen him have a couple of issues, haven't we, coming out of that chicane, certainly in the first race of the day. But Nigel Davos, who had almost a 2-second lead at the start of the previous lap, will start the next one in 2nd place behind Miles Castellini.
Yep, so that's going to be when Costa could get past now. Is Costa got the opportunity to move up into 2nd place with potential issue? Oh, there, but a big squirrel there. And your new race leader, Castellini, there, almost running wide out of the Quarry corner, but keeps it on the straight and narrow. Just shows how dusty it is offline here at Castle Combe. You can see Costa has managed to get past, so Davos with a big issue, and I'm not quite sure what it is. I looked, when we had a close-up look there, I think, is it the floor tray that's coming loose underneath?
I'm not sure. He did mention that he thought the clutch was on the way out, and I'm not sure whether that's going to have much of a problem. I'm not sure how much it'd slow him down. I thought if the clutch was going to go, it was going to go and it'd stop him fairly abruptly. He's down in 3rd place, so he's going to get 3rd in class anyway. But can he now, if he's going to drop away, will he drop away into the clutches of Ben Stiles, who is in the 1800 class and he's behind? He's carrying on. So whilst he may have some issues, still not enough to force him into retirement. So currently running in 3rd then, the top 3, all the M14 runners. It's certainly a bit of flapping around there, isn't it? Looks like you could have been right, Anthony, spotting there. It looks like the floor tray could potentially, and on the right side there, it seems to have dropped down onto the, been rubbing on the tarmac.
So, again, running out so wide there is Casadini. He hasn't got someone in front of him now to show him where the braking zone is, so he's, I think, guessing at this point there until he gets it dialed in. Yeah, running very wide there. But, yeah, as you say, yeah, that floor tray, I think it could just be causing a horrible noise in the cockpit of the car. And, of course, with him, Davos thinking that the clutch was on his way out, he may be thinking that could be the cause. But, like you say, if it was the clutch, it'd have just stopped.
Yes,
but
can't be doing much for his aero either, can it, with that flapping up and down, bouncing on the tarmac as well.
Yeah, yeah. Here is the number 44. That, of course, is Mr. Cox in the 1600 class. Now, he earlier on was having a great battle with George Fern, sorry, I should say. But this time around, that gap is around 10 seconds this time. So they were close last time. Not this time around. There is the number 7 of George Fern, but currently in a nice bit of clean air. A lot calmer race than what they had first time around, I have to say.
Yeah, I don't want to be pedantic, Anthony, but he's called Jeff.
Is it Jeff? What did I call him?
George.
George. Sorry, Jeff. Your name's not George, it's Jeff.
So it's 2-1.
There you go. It's 2-1 in the pedantic comments section. There we go. He's catching up, folks. Don't let him overtake. Well, I shouldn't let him overtake, really, should I? 7.5 minutes left to go. And we still watch here. Jeff. Fern. There you go. Get it right. The number 7. 2nd in class at the moment. 9th overall out on circuit. And having a good, nice, chilled evening drive around Castle Combe circuit in his Formula car.
It's a beautiful evening, isn't it? But Cox and Fern, they had a really intense battle, didn't they, in the first instalment of this class. In this one, the gap is around about 12 seconds as Davis in 6th place. And that looks to be the 117. That's Chris Lord behind in his Reynard. So 2 cars in the same class, although look very, very different. One's gone for the what looks to very Formula Ford style with no wing at all. The Reynard behind, but that is a battle. And it's a battle for the final step on the podium in that class.
It is, yeah, the battle for 3rd place. Look at the size of that rear diffuser, though, on the number 12 of Davis car compared to what's on the 117 as well of Chris Lord. There is huge difference in terms of style and look of the car, isn't it?
It makes for fascinating racing as well, though, doesn't it? Because each car's going to have their own strengths. But in doing so, with certain weaknesses, as Lord kicks up more dust on the inside, you can certainly see why that corner's called Quarry, because the drivers are doing their fair bit of it on the inside. It looks very dusty, very sandy, throwing it out there onto the circuit. We've seen drivers running wide. It's very dusty offline here at Combe, certainly out there at that far end of the circuit as the circuit rises up. We are 6 minutes away from the culmination of the race day here then at Castle Combe. And this Monoposto Club Championship with the M1000s, the 1800 and 1600 cars. This battle on screen is for the final step on the podium in the 1800 class between the 12 of Phil Davis and the 117 of Chris Lord in the all-black car there. As you can see, there's a huge difference between the two of them. One's just got a massive diffuser, the other one's got hardly any diffuser and a big rear wing on the back. And be interesting now to see how this one pans out in the final few laps as the 47 of Jones, it's David Jones, the Ford Pinto powered Van Diemen, running in the 2000 class as well, having a lap put on him by looked like that could have been Will Cox, who's leading the 1600 class.
You could have been right there, so scrapping away all the way through the order. But we come back here for the battle for 3rd place. There is the 47, again in shot. Now this is, like you say, David Jones. Blue flags will be out, but not for one, and that's a disaster for Chris Lord in the 117 manages to get past now, but that was a huge loss of time there for Chris Lord. He's trying to battle for third place in class, but that has allowed the number 12 of Phil Davis to break away a little bit there. So I'm sure a little bit of frustration, especially with just 4 minutes to go. It's not a lot of time to close that gap back up, because of course this track being so fast and not many real slow corners, it's hard to close that gap compared to, like, you know, a circuit with hairpins in it and everything like that, where you really have to slow down, and that's where you can make big advantages in time. But here, where all the corners are quite fast, it's a little bit trickier.
Yeah, you really do have to keep the momentum up. That one has cost Lord 0.6 of a second. He was half a second behind on the previous lap behind Davis, now 1.1, so that's really set him back as our race leader, Miles Castaldini, with 3.5 minutes remaining, is pulling away at a fairly comfortable rate of knots from Bruno Costa. Nigel Davers, the early pace setter in this race, has had some problems. Looks like it might have been an issue with the floor tray, but he is now around about 12 seconds off, and there's a rear wing missing off the back. That's the number 7, is it?
Yeah.
And there's certainly a huge amount of that not attached to the back of Jeff Fern.
Well, with 3 minutes to go, I'm not sure if that was contact with another car or just contact with the barrier, but I expect a meatball flag to be coming very swiftly to the number 7 of Jeff Fern, because that, I suspect in a steward's eyes, would be deemed unsafe, that flailing around on the back of the car.
Unless he can find a way of getting that to dispatch itself from the back. There is confirmation. I'm going to give you a point for that. 3-1 Anthony Jordan. He knows his stuff. There's the meatball flag, the black background with the orange circle in the middle, telling the driver that he has an issue in the way of a mechanical problem with his car. Although I would imagine he probably knows about that.
Yeah, I suspect he probably knows. He'll probably see it in his mirror and he'll thinking, I've not got as much downforce as I had earlier. What's going on? So, yeah, unfortunately, that will be the end of Jeff Fern's race. He'll have to come into the pit lane. But here, your race leader, the 78 of Miles Castadini, is leading comfortably with that engine rattling away at the back there, but comfortably leading by 5 seconds.
Oh, Lord, and has closed right up then on the back of Davis. He was a second behind, having failed to negotiate that back marker successfully going round Tower a few laps ago. And now he is right up on the back of the number 12 of Phil Davis, got alongside him on the drag race down the Dean Straight towards the final corner of the circuit at Camp. Couldn't find a way through, though, and that has cost him a little bit down the straight. He's dropped away to around about half a second, but now can he close up before the last lap board and the checkered flag comes out? 1.5 minutes remaining, so I'd expect them to see the last lap board out when they come round this time for our race leader Castandini. It looks very much like that is the case, so they'll get one more lap of this Castle Combe circuit when they come over the start-finish line. Looks like the 12 of Castandini has come through, but this is where the 117 of Chris Lord closed up on the previous lap. He's right now on the back of the number 12 of Davis. He's going to close up again coming out of the chicane. Can he get the run down? Will he even try and make the move down into Camp Corner this time, or will he stick under the into the back wheels of that one and then try and make it out of the final corner? Although it is a long run down into Quarry, and that's where we would expect Davis to be the strongest, given that he's running certainly a low aero setup on that number 12 with no front nor rear wing. And it's whether then Lord can certainly close up through the twistier sections through the S's. I think this is now certainly the last lap here at Castle Combe, the last racing lap of the day. And can Chris Lord get anywhere near the back of Davis? It's for the final step on the podium in the 1800 class here. The 1600 class already settled by the fact that Jeff Fern doesn't have a rear wing, and Will Cox then will take that unopposed. Out at the front though, Castellandini takes the checkered flag, wins in Mono 1000. Fantastic win for him, 0.7 of a second from anybody else. Costa will come through and take second place. Davers will be through in third. Looks like, in fact, Fern did stay out, even though that meatball flag was out, because I've just seen him there go over start finish with his rear wing flapping. So I'm fairly sure he'll be ending his day with a trip up to have a chat with the clerk of the course. Nonetheless, the checkered flag is out. Stiles in the 18 wins in the 1800 class. Wheatley gets second place, and it looked like they're on the screen, although confirmation needed on the left-hand side. There it comes. Phil Davis takes the final step on the podium in the Mono 1800 class here at Castle Combe. Final couple of runners to come through. Will Cox is going to be the final one in the number 44. Looks like he may have already taken the checkered flag, although it hasn't come up on the screen. He's already waving to the crowd, or that might be because Jeff Fern has already taken the checker anyway. Castle and Dean is behind him. Looks like Cox will come through as well. So a couple of runners still to take the checkered flag, or at least get the confirmation. That's the pit exit. Looks like Cox will peel himself off into the pit lane then. He's already arm up in the air, waving to the marshals as well, in thanks. Spectators as well on the bank here, and it's wonderful to see them back at a race circuit here in the United Kingdom after such a long period of time behind closed doors. The final race of the day then, making their way off. That's the unmistakable green car of Bruno Costa, running in the low aero spec, no front wing on that kart behind him. And that's Jeff Fern, who has no rear wing to any extent. The end plate on one side just about hanging on with what looks like one bolt, the one on the other side not there at all. So the rear wing completely removed to the best part of its effectiveness on the back of the number 7 Team Fern Racing Van Diemen machine. All of our drivers then will make their way off into, there's Chris Lord giving them away, narrowly missed out on getting on the final step of the podium in the 1800 class. There's confirmation then of the results on the screen. Miles Castelladini takes the outright victory from Bruno Costa and Nigel Davers, the top 3 runners in the M1000 class. In the 1800s, the 18 of Ben Stiles holds off Tom Wheatley and Phil Davis, with Will Cox and Jeff Fern battling it out in the 1600 class, with Cox taking the victory from Fern.